Well, the virus has now killed more than 100 people in China, and new cases have been confirmed around the world.
So you don't want to frighten the American public.
France and South Korea have also got evacuation plans.
But you need to prepare for and assume
strongly warning Americans to avoid all non-essential travel to China.
That this is going to be a real serious problem.
France, Australia, Canada, the US, Singapore, Cambodia, Vietnam, the list goes on.
Health officials are investigating more than 100 possible cases in the US.
Germany, a man has contracted the virus.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
Japan, where a bus driver contracted the virus.
Coronavirus has killed more than 100 people there and infected more than 4,500.
We have to prepare for the worst, always, because if you don't and the worst happens.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Hunter raked in a fortune from China while Joe Biden was giving China all of our jobs. They came, you know where they came from, Iowa and plenty of other places, but they came from Iowa. He was giving them, they were taking our jobs, they were taking our factories, they were taking everything, they were taking our wealth. And I gave you $28 billion to say thank you very much, President Xi. It came right out of China. And because of that, everybody's happy in Iowa. I just hope you remember that on November 3rd.
Speaking of, the president's been talking a lot about Hunter Biden. Yeah. There's a bunch of back and forth. You can just bring us up to date on that.
I will. And this is a questionably sourced story, to say the least, that appeared in a tabloid that President Trump and his allies are really trying to seize on here, alleging that Joe Biden may have had a meeting that was set up with somebody that Hunter Biden worked with on this Ukrainian company. Now, the story is so dubious, and we should note, by the way, that the Biden campaign says that meeting was never on Biden's official schedule. But Facebook and Twitter made moves to try to limit the spread of this story. And the Washington Post is reporting that some intelligence experts think this has the hallmark of like a disinformation campaign meant to interfere with the election, Savannah.
Yeah. The disinformation campaign is coming from Haley Jackson and the folks at NBC. This is the mainstream media trying to crush the truth. The New York Post, Daily Mail, Sky News, leading story throughout the world this morning. Guess what? The Biden family completely lied. Joe Biden has lied to the American people, has lied to everybody, up to his neck with financial involvement of guess who? The Chinese Communist Party. Lead story on the New York Post. Daily Mail has it. Absolutely incredible of the breadth and depth of the Biden's corruption and their national security problem. This is a compromised group. Okay, and the people that work around him in national security, like Kurt Campbell and Tony Blinken and Jake Sullivan, who obviously know what's going on. They don't participate in it, but they know the Biden family, led by James Biden and Hunter Biden, are out there cutting deals with the worst entities of the Chinese Communist Party. We're going to get into all that detail. But for you, Senator Josh Hawley is correct. 14th of October, the year of our Lord 2020, yesterday, you got to mark down your calendar because something very serious. I've been warning about this since I left the White House in September of 2017. I think I gave my first talk on it down in Alabama. I think I went off on like a 20-minute riff of the danger of these oligarchs, of these social media companies, and warning the White House you can't play footsie with these guys. They hate the Trump movement. They hate President Trump. They hate the deplorables, and they are going to do nothing but try to suppress your voice. You saw this with what they do with AI. Okay. It is Thursday, the 15th of October, the year of our Lord 2020. I'm from Midtown Manhattan, and you know why. Also, we got Jack Maxey and Raheem Kassam, editor-in-chief of the National Pulse and the anchor of the National Pulse's show on Real America's Voice. That's where we're on. Dish Channel 219 in Chicago, Channel 113. Also, the John Fredericks Radio Network, John Fredericks, the Oracle of the Deplorables, love that radio network. And Newsmax TV, Chris Ruddy and the team, 70 million homes. Also, G News, GTV, blowing it out in Mandarin throughout the world, and the audience there is incredible. I want to thank Luda on his show this morning. He had back-to-back Stephen K. Bannon and Mayor Rudy Giuliani talking to the people of China directly. Global Times, the tabloid that is the mouthpiece of the Chinese Communist Party, the regime's mouthpiece, came out this morning and said, they actually said, they think that President Trump has been handed a great gift with what's the exposure, the great work of the New York Post, and both the columnist Miranda Devine and, of course, the editor, Emma Jo Morris. What a team they've got over there. And, boy, these exposés off the hard drive. Want to tell everybody, and particularly Madeline Peltz over at Media Matters, hey, guess what, Madeline? Not hacked, baby. It's a hard drive. I think Rupert Murdoch's lawyers went through that before they allowed this to be published. And to say it's hacked, this shows you a disgrace. Twitter and Facebook, I think they ought to be actually taken over immediately. Senior management should be fired. These things should be turned into public utilities. They are a danger to the American people, and they're certainly a danger to this republic. I want to turn now to Raheem Kassam, Jack Maxey, anchoring our coverage down on Capitol Hill. By the way, got a lot happening on Capitol Hill. Judge Barrett, the hearings of the last couple of days. Who would have ever thought that a hearing for a Supreme Court justice would take second place to exposés coming out by the New York Post? But Raheem, Jack, get us up to speed. I want to start first with the suppression by social media. And, folks, we told you this is what's going to happen on election night. Back in July, Raheem Kassam and the National Post were breaking these stories. And Milesguo got on there and said, hey, the CCP's most powerful weapon is not the nuclear weapons, not even their biological weapons. It's their social media weapons. You're seeing it right now. It's being weaponized against the deplorables. Raheem and Jack.
So I want to open with the tweet from Senator Josh Hawley yesterday at 7:40, or this morning rather, at 7:41 a.m. Quote, mark it down, October 14th, 2020, the day the most powerful monopolies in American history tried to hijack American democracy by censoring the news and controlling the expression of Americans. Big tech versus America, end quote. That is the best succinct framing of what we saw take place over the last 24 hours. Since we came off air yesterday, Steve and Jack, and to the whole audience out there, you witnessed what could probably be described as the most comprehensive censorship campaign that has ever been waged by these big tech companies. A complete suppression. The New York Post links would not work. They were not postable to Twitter. Facebook said that they were restricting access to these stories until after their quote-unquote fact-checkers got their hands on it. And what did the fact-checkers find out after all of this? Well, the Washington Post, and we're going to talk about this in the coming segment, but the Washington Post is saying that Joe Biden never, ever asked for a prosecutor to be fired. Well, there are tapes, there are videos, and we played those videos back in War Room impeachment days, I believe, and we'll play them again here today. But in addition to that, you look at how they're claiming the hacked laptop. The laptop was hacked. Well, Steve, Jack, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but when the possession of these laptops, per the law, transfers to somebody else because they were not picked up, they were left there, how do you hack your own laptop? Here's my question. If the title property transfers, how's it a hack?
This is, by the way, a stone cold. This is a stone cold lie. This is a stone cold lie. They shut down the Kayleigh McEnany's. They shut down the White House. Is the New York Post still frozen? I talked to the Post people today about how this story was going to get out, and at the time at 5 a.m. it was still frozen. Is their Twitter account still frozen? I want to go back through what happened yesterday. Is that the first day of really the reveals? Got to remember, they're 22 to 40,000. Rudy says 40,000. I say it's about 25 or 30,000. But there's massive amount of emails and text messages. And you saw the story today on the CCP. This thing has real detail in it of what the Rudy calls it, or Steve Cortez called it this morning on Maria Bartiromo, the Biden crime family. Rudy called it yesterday a Biden crime family. It's certainly a family that is in business with the Chinese Communist Party. But this story came out yesterday, and they immediately had to shut it down, didn't they, Raheem and Jack? They immediately had to shut it down. They looked for any means necessary to make sure this thing couldn't go viral.
The New York Post still suspended, by the way, to answer your question. Kayleigh McEnany her account was limited as a result of this. Jack Posobiec had his account limited. 1 million followers on Jack Posobiec's account had his account suspended as a result of this. And also this morning, the official Team Trump, i.e. the campaign's Twitter account, 18 days and a wake-up away from an election, was stopped from sending messages on Twitter.
Well, I think the really positive thing about this, listen, it's outrageous, but everybody knows that it's outrageous. One of the guys who Vish and I listen to a lot, a guy named Tim Pool, very much a center-left progressive kind of podcaster, but a thoughtful guy, has great insight on the American experience. And he writes just an hour ago, man, people are waking up. He writes, how come we never verified New York Times story on Trump's taxes? What happens when foreign interests start blackmailing Joe Biden over the the effed up S in his son did or connected him to? What happens? This is becoming real for people. They're starting to understand this compromise.
Jack, I totally disagree with you. I totally disagree. These guys have so much power. They're oligarchs. I don't care if all the Tim Pools. You're not going to see the progressive left in any force say, "Oh, this is bad. We should do it." Yeah, you may have a couple of guys like Tim Pool say, "Hey, what about Trump's taxes?" I disagree. This is the power of oligarchs coming at you, and I got to tell you, they're in business with the foreign. What did Milesguo said? Hey, Twitter, Facebook, Google, they're all in business with the CCP. They all want access to the Chinese market, right? They're all out in Silicon Valley. All the CCP's money's out there. I could not disagree more. You may have a Tim Pool or a couple of guys saying, God, it's really bad what's happening. You know, what happened? It won't make a difference. They have not. Look at what Raheem just said. The New York Post, one of the biggest and most important papers in the country, and probably in back of the Sun and the Global Times, probably the third or fourth most important tabloid, is still got it, and owned by a guy named Rupert Murdoch, just to throw out a random name, still has their Twitter account shut down, right? They didn't have a problem with shutting down the White House or shutting down voices like Jack Posobiec. They're not. No, all the Tim Pools in the world aren't going to change this. This is, to me, this is a wake-up. This is like Crystal Knock, right? Well, this is what social media is doing, okay? This is oppressive. This is to scare you. This is to say, hey, you get out of line, you're going to get shut down. And you have no, what's the court of appeal here? How do you do it? The President of the United States called him out last night. The President of the United States, the leader of the free world, called him out from a stage in Iowa. What happened? Nothing happened. They didn't change. So how are all the Tim Pools in the world going to change that, Mr. Jack Maxey?
Well, I think what's happening, Steve, is, and I'm not saying that they're going to change it, but I think that average people, we know that we are in this all the time. We are on it. But average people, I've seen it overnight. They are absolutely shocked that the New York Post, one of the oldest papers in America, is being censored. This idea that under the First Amendment, right, we have the right to freedom of the press. Well, now we have the digital media censoring the traditional print media that our founders protected under the First Amendment. It's actually an outrage that I think crosses all party lines, and people have to begin to see that it is a one-way program. The only time they run a protection racket is for Joe Biden and the Democratic Party. And I want to reiterate every single day to election how the DNC and the FBI and the oligarchs that run Silicon Valley betrayed Bernie Sanders and his millions of followers. Guess what, guys? Donald Trump is creating that country that you want. Good union, jobs, and security for your families and the future. You have been betrayed. I'm going to tell you every day.
Raheem, what do you got? What are your observations about what Jack's saying about you have an awakening of liberals and progressives that think this is terrible?
I think there should be one, but I don't really think there is one yet. I mean, here's the thing, right? And this is the problem with all of these people who are on this kind of, oh, yeah, like, you know, Section 230. I've been on that train for 4 years. I've been telling people before the last election, you have all these mechanisms. Go back and check the record for anybody out there that doubts it. And here's the thing. You have this group, this cadre of people who came along, jumped on that train, but all they know how to do is throw red meat to their audience and go like, yeah, big tech's bad, but nobody's done anything about it. There have been no lessons in how to get legislation changed. There have been no FBI raids. The FBI should have been inside Twitter HQ and Facebook HQ yesterday. We shouldn't be calling for hearings on the Hill. We shouldn't be calling for like, oh, you know, let's have our time in the Judiciary Committee. This is a criminal act that is taking place right now. It is Orwellian, it is criminal, and is a harbinger of things to come if Joe Biden and Kamala Harris get their way. I'll take us out to break, Steve. We'll be right back with more War Room Pandemic.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I guarantee you they'll be the most comfortable sheets you'll ever own.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best sleep of my life.
They are so soft and smooth. I never slept so good.
I fall asleep faster because I'm actually comfortable.
I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable, which is why I can give you my full 10-year warranty. But I didn't stop there. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. I guarantee you the first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors and will be the softest, most comfortable sheets you will ever own. Use the promo code and get 2 for 1 low price, plus free shipping. Giza Dreams are made with the finest, most sought-after cotton in the world. Giza cotton was once reserved for only the finest dress shirts, but is now available in Mike's Giza Dream Sheets. They feature a beautiful silky sateen weave that helps keep you cool and comfortable all night long.
With the Giza Dream Sheets, I'm getting the best rest of my life.
I love my Giza Dream Sheets. Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Use the promo code and Mike will give you a very special 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. Call or go online now.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
I sent your new prescription to the pharmacy.
Any idea how much it will cost?
You have a choice. Insurance or GoodRx?
I have insurance.
Insurance is not what it used to be. People struggle to get their prescriptions covered, and prices keep rising. I recommend GoodRx. You get free coupons to save on your prescriptions. Compare prices to find the best discounts.
GoodRx. Smart.
Stop paying too much for your prescriptions. Download the free app today.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Speaking of, the president's been talking a lot about Hunter Biden. There's a bunch of back and forth. You can just bring us up to date on that.
I will, and this is a questionably sourced story, to say the least, that appeared in a tabloid that President Trump and his allies are really trying to seize on here, alleging that Joe Biden may have had a meeting that was set up with somebody that Hunter Biden worked with on this Ukrainian company. Now, the story is so dubious, and we should note, by the way, that the Biden campaign says that meeting was never on Biden's official schedule. But Facebook and Twitter made moves to try to limit the spread of this story. And the Washington Post is reporting that some intelligence experts think this has the hallmark of like a disinformation campaign meant to interfere with the election, Savannah.
Yeah.
Haley Jackson, you and NBC are useful idiots of the Chinese Communist Party. What are you saying today, Haley? Is that a dubious story? Emails, 40,000 emails? Is that a dubious story? They walk through the handwritten notes of Joe Biden's, his family and Joe Biden up to their neck in Chinese Communist Party ill-gotten gains. Remember, Biden's and the American people, you have to understand, when the CCP has these companies and cut these kind of deals, it's because they've stolen the money from Lao Beijing. They've stolen the money from the deplorables of China. It's the slave labor of China that creates the wealth of the elites of the Chinese Communist Party. That is what's funneled back into Biden and his family. That's what they can do these $30 million joint ventures. That's where they can pay him. Look at the chart in the New York Post. You know, Hunter Biden's going to get $850,000 a year as chairman of this joint venture they set up. Hunter Biden, who you'll see, you know, they've already had a number of pictures up off of this treasure trove of him on the crack pipe, right? On the crack pipe. But there'll be a lot more. Trust me, there's a lot more where they came from. And, I don't know if Joe Biden is going to given the fact that dementia has already started a wee bit, like say 5 or 10%. I don't think Joe Biden's going to take the psychological damage that this hard drive is going to do to him. But we'll see. That's all going to happen in the next couple of 3 days, so stand by. The New York Post, founded by Alexander Hamilton as a Federalist newspaper, and wanted a strong central government. Now it's kind of the tabloid of the right. Done an amazing story, but I want to go back to the end of Haley Jackson's running dog commentary for the Chinese Communist Party, Raheem and Jack, when she said, she threw it there, dubious sourced. Yeah, here's the source, Haley. It's the hard drive of Hunter Biden. And if you don't believe that, we've got all of Hunter Biden's lawyers emails trying to come in the last second saying, hey, did Hunter leave his thing? Could you please get it to me? Yeah, no, it's not hacked. That's ridiculous. You don't think Rupert Murdoch's lawyers checked into that beforehand? That's ridiculous. So Haley and NBC and Chuck Todd, you're going to have to embrace the suck today and respond to the Chinese Communist Party. And Tony Blinken and Kurt Campbell and, Jake Sullivan, all you guys of dreams, you're dreaming about recoupling. Hey, we got to get power because we got to recouple. We got to undo everything that Trump's done, undo everything Peter Navarro's done, undo everything Mike Pompeo's done, everything this crazy Steve Bannon and the whistleblower. We got to undo that, recouple, so we can get lucrative business deals. Guess what? Those dreams are now turning to ashes as the expose continues of the corruption and graft of the Biden family. But more importantly, it's a national security issue. This is a compromised family. Joe Biden's a compromised candidate. He's a Manchurian candidate. And you can see, look at the money. Look at the deals. Look at how cozy up. And this is not even talking about Bohai. We're not even into the private equity. You're not even into any of that. What we're going to do is track down Chris Hines. We're going to have Chris Hines as our guest to talk about that. Chris Hines. We're going to ask Chris Hines what he really thought about that joint venture, what he really knew about the money being raised, and why he ran for the hills, why Chris Hines was the first guy out the door, because he understood where this was going to lead. Chris Hines understood, and that's why you don't see him in the email chain. Chris Hines understood where this was going to lead, was to exposure of their conflicts with the Chinese Communist Party since they've been taking their cash. Raheem, I want to go back to you and Jack. I want to go to the social media part of this because this is really, to me, even a more important story than the Chinese cash, because this is what's going to lead to the oppression of the American people. You've seen right now your new masters. Your new masters are the oligarchs. This is what I warned the White House from the beginning. Do not play footsie with these guys. We got to bring the hammer to these guys. We ran against them in 2016. This is what Cernovich and the whole posse out there was fighting. We were warned by Darren Beatty and these guys immediately afterwards of how they're going to use artificial intelligence to gut the online Trump movement. That day is here, and you see these oligarchs last night and Josh Hawley. I got to tell you, I think this guy is going to be competitive in 2024 after the second term of President Trump. I think this guy is woke. I think he really gets it. He's not faking it. He's a smart guy. Stanford University, Yale Law School, really, really smart guy. He's on top of this. Raheem, Jack, the social media oppression. Walk me through it.
Steve, one guy who really needs to be asked about what's going on with this suppression is a guy named Ajit Pai. He's the chairman of the FCC. He was elevated by Trump in 2017, but he's been sitting on the committee since 2011. He was put there by Obama. Apparently, if you look back in his record, he's not totally in support of net neutrality, but he's completely silent here. I looked at the FCC's webpage from yesterday, not even a comment about the largest organizations in Silicon Valley suppressing a great American newspaper from reporting the truth to the American people. Somebody needs to call this guy and put him to the table. The other thing is, too, and our viewers keep saying that we need to remind people, the FBI had this information for a year, Steve. And this means that the FBI ran coverage for the Biden campaign at the expense of every other Democrat. all you people who went out there and worked hard for your various candidates during the primaries, literally, you had a shiv stuck in your back by the FBI for a second time. You should be outraged beyond belief.
You know, Rudy called for yesterday, Jack and Raheem, Rudy called for the resignation of Wray. I can't imagine the president's not going to have a conversation with this guy. This is an outrage, given everything that's gone on in 16, everything on the nullification, the FBI up to the neck in this, to know that they had this thing for almost a year in crickets. There's got to be an immediate investigation, I mean like immediate, like starting tonight, of exactly why this hard drive was not gone through and why Biden was not exposing this immediately. It's not, hey, trust me, you know, I've been through this thing. It's not that hard. It's all sitting up there for you in plain sight. So it's why the FBI suppressed this. That's what they did. They suppressed it, right? And the little shop owner kept chasing them, saying, hey, you know, tell me what's going on. What's going on? Why is nothing happening? This is just a basic American citizen. Of course, they're going to destroy him. You saw the interview, the gang tackling him the other day to media try to do a media mob to beat him up digitally, right? But you know, he's just an ordinary American citizen that turned it over to the FBI and wanted to know why nothing was going on. So Raheem, Jack, by the way, I think it's a brilliant comment. Hashtag War Room Pandemic, and in the live stream, we need to hear the posse. People need to get up on the horse. This is the time you got to ride to the sound of the guns, because hey, we kept telling you this was going to happen in the run-up to the campaign, the run-up to Election Day, and starting Election Day, this is what they're going to do. You think they're going to let Trump declare himself the winner? Do you think they're ever going to say Trump's leading or Trump's winning on Election night? Are you kidding me? They're so petrified of the expose coming out from the hard drive of Hunter Biden in the New York Post. They're shutting that down, and this is smash mouth. This is nothing subtle about this. They make up, oh, it's hack material. And he came out with that after a couple hours, right? It's hack material. And we can shut down the White House. We'll shut down the New York Post. We'll shut down Rupert Murdoch. We'll shut down Donald Trump. You think they care about you out there in the audience, a deplorable, a grundoon? Do you think they care about you, about shutting you down at all? Jack Posobiec, main file shut down. They don't care. This is pure smash mouth. Raheem, what's most disappointing is places like NBC just falling right into the narrative. What do you got to say, brother?
Well, I mean, it's disappointing and entirely predictable. I mean, let's be clear about this. We've connected the dots over the last couple of years in terms of how these organizations work together. They work together on Chinese Communist Party conferences. They work together on Chinese Communist Party Marxist journalism schools. You know, CNN is sending people out there to help a Marxist journalism school. So none of this surprises me at all. You look at Facebook's oversight board, 95% of people on that oversight board avowed outright in your face never Trumpers, and 70% of them aren't even from this country or reside in this country. They're foreign nationals making decisions over a company that's based in the United States, over information that was sourced in the United States for a U.S. audience that is voting an election in 18 and a bit days. And this is the types of people that we're dealing with here. And you can go through the whole list of them. We did an entire, in fact, I'll tweet it again. We did an entire teardown of who exactly is responsible in these scenarios. So the NBC stuff really doesn't come as a shock to me, and I just want to let you know that the president has been mentioning this this morning on Fox Business in an interview with Stuart Varney, talking about how the story should have been the front page of the newspapers this morning, but instead is being buried and lied about in outlets like specifically the New York Times, he mentions. And as a corollary to everything that we're talking about today, the latest story on the New York Post homepage about the emails revealing how Hunter Biden tried to cash in big with Chinese firms, with Chinese Communist Party linked firms, is also now being blocked on social media.
Is that now being blocked? The Chinese even came off the hard drive? Are they blocking the new CCP story? Is that being blocked also?
Yes, that is correct.
This is outrageous. This came from emails and text messages from the principals of Biden's family around Biden. It talked about Joe Biden getting a 10% equity stake in something that's going to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a commercial break. We promised the audience a ringside seat. Well, you've got a ringside seat. Hashtag War and Pandemic in the live stream. Jack Maxey, Raheem Kassam, Stephen K. Bannon. It's the War Room. We've got a lot more to talk about when we return, about the Chinese Communist Party, the Biden family, and social media, the running dogs of Silicon Valley. All next on War and Pandemic.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and I'm here to tell you about my new product from MyPillow, towels that actually work. Watch this absorbency test. Here's another towel that we randomly went out and bought. Here's one of my towels with the nice design. I don't know if you can see this, but you could line a swimming pool with this. I mean, this is crazy. Get rid of it. Towels that actually work. What a concept.
I really love the towels. They're really great. They're super absorbent.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now. The new MyPillow towels are exclusively made with 100% USA combed cotton with proprietary technology and with maximum absorbency. They dry you faster and are guaranteed to work. And listen to this. Use the promo code on your screen and Mike will include a second full towel set with bath towel, hand towel, and washcloth absolutely free. That's 2 MyPillow towel sets for the price of 1 in your choice of color.
I personally guarantee they're going to be the best towels you'll ever own.
Order now.
So, Frank, you're the big hurt. Why do you need Nugenics? After 40, a guy loses free testosterone. Even me. I couldn't stay in shape like I used to.
Frank, so does Nugenics really work?
Oh, yeah. My workouts are incredible now. I'm feeling stronger, more energetic, with a lot more drive.
Frank. So, say I knew someone who should try Nugenics. How does he do that?
It's easy. Just send a text to get a complimentary bottle.
Frank's right. Now you can claim a complimentary bottle of award-winning Nugenics by texting BUFF to 42424. Its unique formula is powered by Testofen, a patented key ingredient clinically researched to help a man feel stronger, leaner, more energetic, and more passionate. Text BUFF to 42424 for your complimentary bottle of Nugenics Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of new Nugenics Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. That's BUFF to 42424.
This is the kind of card that has America talking. With it, people with Medicare are getting all-in-one coverage for their doctor visits, hospital care, prescription drugs, and more. This kind of insurance, called Medicare Part C, may also cover dental care, eyeglasses, hearing aids, fitness programs, vitamins, even healthy meals and rides to the doctor. With this kind of coverage, you do not need a Medicare supplement insurance plan. You will access your benefits through your Medicare Part C plan for one low and oftentimes $0 monthly plan premium. You deserve to get the most from your Medicare benefits. Call now for free information that may help you get more coverage for less money. There is no obligation to enroll. Whether for yourself or someone you love, call the number on the screen now. Call now.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
That's what it is. These tech companies want to rig an election. They want to control what we read. They want to control journalists in this country. They want to control the news. And we just can't let them. And that's why I will be inviting and asking Facebook and Twitter to come testify under oath to my subcommittee in the United States Senate. The American people deserve answers. I've also asked the Federal Election Committee to open an investigation. You know, looks like to me like an in-kind campaign contribution to the Biden campaign. I want to know, what contacts did Twitter and Facebook and others have with the Biden campaign when they decided to start censoring this New York Post story on behalf of the Bidens? This thing just stinks. It reeks. And this is going to pull the lid off, I think, on just the corruption surrounding big tech.
Now, and Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey, Senator, put out a statement earlier tonight saying our communication around our actions on the New York Post article was not great, and blocking URL sharing via tweet or DM with zero context as to why we're blocking unacceptable. Well, that's not saying they're unblocking it, though, Senator, right? It's just saying that we needed to explain why we blocked it.
Yeah, you know, it's so insulting. I read that statement, and I was insulted by it. It insults the intelligence of every single American citizen. I mean, we're not stupid. We conceived that Twitter rushed to suppress this story, to censor it on behalf of the Bidens, just like Facebook rushed to do the same thing. Yeah, this is the fix is in. They want to rig the election and use their monopoly power, and we can't let them.
Okay, mark that down. Josh Hawley, the 14th of October, the year of our Lord 2020, yesterday, he put it up on his Twitter. He was, we're going to get later during the hearing, actually, with the glorious ACB. Man, was she magnificent. Actually had comments on this. We'll get to that later. What I'd like to, if we get a chance, is get the guys in Denver, the great team at Real America's Voice. I want to make sure we put up the front page of the New York Post and the front page of the Daily Mail. Daily Mail has done an amazing job of drafting off the New York Post, actually repurposing the stories and sometimes finding buried leads, New York Post. So just amazing. Josh Hawley, when he first ran and came by and saw some of the guys in D.C., I thought he was just another one of these stiffs who was a complete establishment guy. Josh Hawley is a fire-breathing populist out of Missouri. He's a guy to watch. He's one to keep your, this guy is smart. Stanford University, Yale Law School. He's not going to back down on anything intellectually. He's exactly what the populist movement, the nationalist movement need. Guys who are not going to back down. People like Pompeo, people like Josh Hawley, people like Tom Cotton. You got these guys from West Point and Harvard. They are Yale. These are fire breathers. And I got to tell you, Josh Hawley of the last couple of days has been on it. And he, during the break, I was saying, hey, we got to get the FEC thing up here. Ronna McDaniel and the team of the RNC, you've done such a great job in this campaign, but now's the time to get your lawyers into court. Josh Hawley told you what you got to do. You got to go sue today in court with or go to the FEC and let's get a violation. This is a payment in kind. Let's get the emails and all the correspondence, all the phone calls between the Biden campaign. This doesn't come out of a clear blue sky. The Biden campaign called them and said, you got to stop this. These New York Post stories are going to bury us. You know why? There are three reasons. Number one, as I said yesterday, Joe Biden is a stone-cold liar. He looked the American people in the face, and he lied to them about the financial involvement of his son or him in the Ukraine. And I keep saying that's a sideshow to a sideshow. The big enchilada is going to be the CCP in China, and you see that today. And this is just the first of many to show the breadth and depth of their involvement with the Chinese Communist Party. They don't want these stories out. They have to have Haley Jackson and these people out there saying, oh, it's dubious source. Here's the source. Here's the dubious source, Haley. It's the hard drive of Hunter Biden. It's got all the emails of all the Biden family in there. It's got all the text messages in there. And guess what? Got pictures, tapes, audio. There's a lot more to come. Okay? Hours and hours of audio. Thousands of photographs. Hours of videos. Okay? All to come. All there. And here's the authenticity. It's from his hard drive, okay? And that's been validated. Nobody's sitting there going, they're not saying, oh, that's not my email. Talk to the other parties in here. You got all kind of third parties in here now. Gilliard and all these guys, these consulting firms, all trying to make a buck. Is it we have Jack Posobiec? Okay, listen, we got Raheem Jack. We tracked down Jack Posobiec. Posobiec's on assignment today for One America News. By the way, I'll be on One America later today with an interview, trying to work out the time right now with the great team at One America. Jack Posobiec. Posobiec, you were limited yesterday. They're trying to shut you down. Thank you for joining us by phone. Walk us through why yesterday was a line of demarcation in American history about the oligarchs that we created off of the deplorables' money, off of their pension funds out in Silicon Valley. Walk us through how dangerous it was yesterday, sir.
Well, Steve, and it wasn't just yesterday, and thanks so much for having me on. It wasn't just yesterday. This is ongoing as we go into the election. Twitter, Facebook, Jack Dorsey, Mark Zuckerberg, and their apparatchiks that control this stuff, as they tell us, the Andy Swans of the world, they decided on their own to throw the switch that people like you, Steve, the people like Raheem, Jack Mackey, everyone at War Room have been predicting would happen. Here we are just a few weeks before the election. They threw the switch, and they said this information that is so damaging to the Bidens, is so detrimental that the American people are not allowed to see it. They are not allowed to talk about it. Now, we remember this a little bit in 2016 with Chris Cuomo saying that only CNN is allowed to look at WikiLeaks. Remember that? You remember he said that? Now social media has adopted the exact same tactic. If you share information that is detrimental to their interests, if you share information that is too powerful for their agenda, they will simply shut you down. And they're doing it to presidential accounts. They're doing it to the Team Trump presidential candidate account, his actual official campaign account. They did the press secretary. They're taking power over the organs of our own government.
Jack and Raheem, Jack Maggi, jump in here. Let me ask you another question. What do you think ought to be done about this? What should be emergency measures that you, Posobiec, who have such a massive following on social media, what do you believe needs to be done immediately? Not talk, but action from the President of the United States and this administration.
The Department of Justice needs to achieve an emergency injunction immediately from federal court, walk right across the street there in Washington, D.C., and receive a federal injunction to prevent Twitter and Facebook from doing this for the remainder of the election for the good of national security.
Wow, Raheem, Jack, jump in here. What do you guys think? Jack Posobiec just throws down, wants to go and get emergency, basically TR, get him to stand down in federal court. Raheem?
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. As I said in the last segment, and Jack, jump in on this as well. But the idea of sort of holding these sessions in committee and talking this out and bringing Jack Dorsey to Capitol Hill in 3 months' time to account for his, what he himself said was quote unquote an unacceptable response. Well, all he was talking about is the fact that they basically got caught censoring these things without any rational, reasonable decision. So I want to hear from Posobiec in terms of doing something like that, an injunction. That is something that is fully within the gift of the Justice Department to do. So why are they not doing it?
Well, they're not doing it, Raheem, because, and as we've covered many times, that the Department of Justice is not fully controlled by the Trump administration. You have had people there for almost 2 administrations now that have decided to put their own interests, the interests of Washington, D.C., the interests of the Acela elite corridor over those of the American people. They love tech control. They love being in bed with Silicon Valley. So those people there, for example, Bruce Orr, a guy who broke every rule in the book, couldn't even get fired. He had to resign. He resigned in disgrace, but they couldn't even do anything about him. This is the administrative state, the permanent state that has been there for so long. As Steve likes to say, it's not the deep state, it's right there in front of us.
Hold on. I want to jump in here for 1 second, Jack Maxey. Is that Posobiec? There's also, it's the DOJ's got a problem, but let's be brutally frank, and Cernovich and others have called this out from day one. You got a problem in the White House. I mean, there's a lot of guys in the White House that want to play footsie with these oligarchs, right, for all kind of different agendas. This thing should have been shut down years ago. We saw that, Darren Beatty, Jack Posobiec, there were others, Cernovich. We were warned about this in the summer of 17, that this was going to be a problem. They were going through and trying to gut the whole online aspect of the Trump movement. They were using artificial intelligence. Breitbart, Peter Schweitzer, all types of people came out and had great stories about this, great analysis. So Posobiec, it's not just DOJ. The problem is they tried to play footsie with the guys of Silicon Valley, and these guys, they hate them. They hate the deplorables. They hate the Trump movement. They hate conservatives. They hate President Trump. I mean, these guys are trying to destroy Trump. Jack Posobiec, comments, observations.
We have that video from Google immediately after the election where they're holding essentially a struggle session. It's almost it's like a wake for Hillary Clinton, and they say one of the most chilling things that's ever been said in American history, that we are not going to let this happen again. And that's a company, along with all of their friends, that has the power to do that. Well, there are other nodes of power in the United States. The White House is certainly one of them. And people there need to stop thinking about what kind of jobs they're going to get, what kind of lobbying contracts they're going to get when they eventually come out of that office. They need to stop thinking about that and start thinking about what's right for the American people.
So, Posobiec, I know we only got you for another 2 minutes. What's your current status? What's your status on Twitter right now, Facebook, Instagram? What's the status of Jack Posobiec?
Well, so they've got me unlocked right now. I'm fully restored, but the gun is to our heads, right? The gun is to all of our heads. It's sure, you're fully restored, but don't share that link. Don't share the next piece of the story whenever it drops. Don't share the next New York Post story that comes out, right? So the gun is to everyone's head on social media that if you share, and by the way, for me, it was just a picture from the story, right? A completely, legitimate story that was released by a journalistic outlet in the midst of an election, but the gun is to everyone's head now, and they're essentially putting it closer and closer to Donald Trump's head himself.
Posobiec, what's your Twitter handle? We want to make sure as many people in this posse can get on there as possible. What's your social media?
It's at Jack Posobiec, JackPosobiec.
Thank you. And you're at the rally today. What are you going to be broadcasting live from the rally? I know One American.
That's right. I'm here at the president's event in North Carolina. He'll be here. He's giving a speech. Then he's down to Miami for the town hall, where they'll be holding contrasting town halls himself and Joe Biden at the same time.
Jack Posobiec, One American News. Thank you very much for joining us. Real America's Voice also will be doing that. By the way, Raheem, are you getting preempted again? You got preempted for the Judge Barrett hearings, which I want to tell the guys in Denver. As much as I love National Pulse, as much as I love Raheem Kassam, I think seeing Judge Barrett was a good call. Are you getting preempted today by North Carolina before the president goes down to his town hall in Miami?
No, I will be live today at 3 p.m. Having recovered from my 12-hour head cold, I will be back at 3 p.m. on the National Pulse on Real America's Voice this afternoon.
Hey, guys, real quick, I want to make a comment.
Yeah, sure.
Make a comment.
What's up,
this
Jack?
Miranda Devine, who has been reporting on this from the New York Post, gave a statement to Sky News either late last night or this morning, saying that they're going to have bigger bombshells tomorrow on China's business connections. And this is a comment she made concerning the big tech comments. This is a quotation. These are the two big tech companies, multinational companies, some of the biggest companies in the world, and they are interfering in the U.S. election. It's 3 weeks out from the election, and Joe Biden is the Democratic presidential candidate. These are emails linking Joe Biden to his family's cash for influence scandal. This is a Biden family grift. This is the first time that there has been an actual physical evidential link, and it is being suppressed.
They said they wanted the evidence. We got the evidence, and now they want to hide the evidence. We'll be back with more War Room Pandemic. Stephen K. Bannon, Jack Maxey, Raheem Kassam in just a moment.
Do you have any idea how your mattress affects your body and how well you sleep? Is it too hard or too soft, causing you to wake up with sore shoulders, back, or hips? Are you uncomfortable because you're too hot or too cold? Now you can get the total body support you need and the better sleep you want with the new MyPillow mattress topper.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. When I invented my new MyPillow mattress topper, I made it to have everything you'd ever want in a topper. My mattress topper helps give you the support you need, helps relieve your pressure points, and regulates your body temperature for you as an individual. It comes with a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry the cover. It's made in the USA, and I back it with my 60-day money-back guarantee.
Go to MyPillow.com or call now to get your very own MyPillow mattress topper. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Order now.
MyPillow topper delivers on its promise to give me a better night's sleep.
I can sleep all night through, and it's a miracle for me.
Mike's exclusive 3-layer design starts with a layer of MyPillow foam, providing you superior support and comfort. The second layer of transitional foam evenly distributes body weight and helps relieve uncomfortable pressure points for optimal comfort. Mike's ultra-soft outer layer is a patented temperature-regulating cover that helps keep you at your ideal sleeping temperature all night long. Unlike other sleep systems costing thousands, the MyPillow mattress topper takes comfort to a whole new level without any wires, remotes, or moving parts. Call now or go to MyPillow.com to order your MyPillow topper. Use the promo code to save 30%. When you do, Mike will give you 2 of his standard MyPillows absolutely free. That's right, 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off your MyPillow topper today. Order now.
I personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
If you're over 50, imagine you could turn back the clock on your stiff, achy joints 10, even 20 years. Imagine you could do this without products that just temporarily hide the symptoms and may have side effects. Imagine no more. Get your complimentary sample of Instaflex Advanced just by texting JOINT to 231231. Instaflex Advanced is different because it targets the root cause of joint soreness and stiffness. It doesn't just cover up symptoms. Instead, it bathes your joints in its unique combination of 5 key natural ingredients found in no other product. Key ingredients backed by 5 clinical studies. Instaflex Advanced is so powerful, you could have better knees in just 1 week. Maybe that's why it's #1 at GNC. But you can only get your complimentary sample by texting JOINT to 231231. Plus, text now and we'll include a tube of Instaflex pain cream with its exclusive oxygenated oil for fast-acting relief from the pain of arthritis, backaches, and sore muscles, absolutely free. Text JOINT to 231231.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
He asked you whether it was best characterized as an anti-corruption clause. You might remember that in terms of foreign influence and foreign interference. And then he referenced the president and various allegations about foreign influence. Since he asked you about it, and since he asked about foreign influence in government, I think it's only fair that I ask whether, hypothetically speaking, just hypothetically, if there were, let's say, a vice president of the United States who hypothetically had an adult son, who hypothetically worked for a foreign oligarch, who then sold access to his father, the vice president, and his father then intervened in a case to make sure that that oligarch wasn't prosecuted. Hypothetically, would that constitute the kind of foreign corruption that the Constitution's concerned about?
I can't answer hypotheticals.
Well, I thought you might say that, and I'm glad you don't and won't, because who knows, that case may come before you. But I think it's a fair set of questions.
Boom! That case may come before you. Josh Hawley, once again, in a star turn. I guess he was a star turn as supporting cast of the glorious ACB on her testimony yesterday for her confirmation hearing. Josh Hawley bringing it, talking about the Bidens. And by the way, we were going to start the next segment. If we have Raheem, if we get the guys in Denver and Vish could pull the Biden's denial of that, or Biden's actually not denial, his actually bragging about it. I want to play that as what Josh Hawley was talking about. But Josh Hawley, they're obviously talking about Joe Biden when he's vice president. And today, the facts are laid out in emails, text messages, handwritten notes. They've got the whole scheme of how they're doing these different partnerships, and it's multiple. The New York Post story's got so much information. There's about 10 buried leads in there. Number one, Joe Biden's getting 10%, getting 10% of a big partnership that's going to turn into tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars for him, hundreds of millions of dollars. You've got Hudson 3 West, another like real estate partnership they're talking about. They've got engagement letters of $1 million for Hunter for not doing anything. It's just literally insane. The amount of corruption and graft from the Biden family, all brought out off of Hunter's hard drive, not hacked, just a basic hard drive with an insane amount of information. The New York Post is also putting up some pictures. There's a lot more pictures to come. That's all I can tell you, a lot more pictures to come. And some of them are not going to be suitable for family viewing, but the people are going to have to, the publisher, are going to have to figure that out. And we're going to have to see how psychologically strong Joe Biden is now that he's got about 5 or 10% of dementia. How psychologically strong is the other 90%? Because the heat is coming. Raheem, Jack, the FEC, the FCC, the White House, President's on Varney. He's got a rally today in North Carolina, then a town hall tonight. Are any of the audience members or any of the moderators tonight going to ask Joe Biden about this? Raheem Kassam, let's start with you, and then we'll go to Jack.
Oh, can you hear us, Steve?
Yeah, I hear you perfectly.
Oh, great.
Can see you too.
I feel sorry for you. Look, he will be asked about it, but he'll be asked about it in a very specific way. He'll be asked about it, hey, how do you feel about the disinformation campaign that's being waged against your son at the moment? How do you feel about the fact that it looks like your son's laptop may have been hacked? How does it look? How does it feel that, this looks like the same kind of Russia collusion and Russian interference that we saw 4 years ago? Those are the sorts of questions that we expect to hear tonight given to Joe Biden. It's impossible, I hate to crow on this tomorrow morning, but I think it's impossible, given how much this is trending, given how wide this story is, given how many people it's actually riled up on both sides of the aisle in terms of the censorship that's taken place here. I mean, look at Maggie Haberman yesterday. Poor old Maggie Haberman thought she had the left in her pocket. She tweets the link to the New York Post, and they come out calling her MAGA Haberman all day. She's trending on Twitter as MAGA Haberman. So you've got to understand that from a broadcaster's perspective, and indeed from Joe Biden's perspective, it would look totally bizarre that this isn't represented at all tonight. But what I'm interested in is how President Trump deals with this tonight. He's just gone on Stuart Varney. He just railed about the coverage about it. He talked about it last night at the rally. But I'd like to see a little bit more granularity on this from the president tonight at his town hall.
I'd like to see him be able to pronounce Burisma tonight a little bit better. He stumbled with that last night. But I think the president's going to do what he did just the other evening. He's going to go off. He's going to do whatever he wants. You're going to ask him a question about what his favorite dog is, and he'll go into a story about Joe Biden and Burisma. So he's going to be in charge of his own narrative. But I agree with Ryan.
Yeah, but no. He's lost the narrative. This is Burisma's a sideshow. Yesterday, the Burisma reveal was for one reason. It shows that Joe Biden's a stone-cold liar. We'll have that probably in the next segment. Joe Biden's a stone-cold liar. Other than that, we should just forget about Burisma. It's not particularly relevant. And my point is that, yeah, Hunter Biden took money, but Joe Biden lied about it. That's the key. It's a sideshow. The main event is in the New York Post today, and that's why they're suppressing it. That's why they won't let you link to it, because this is the Chinese Communist Party. Remember, Tony Blinken, Kurt Campbell, Jake Sullivan, all they're talking about is undoing what Pompeo, Navarro, Bannon, but principally President Trump did, the decoupling with the Chinese Communist Party and the decoupling from the Chinese economy until the CCP collapses, right? And, get them off the dollar, sanction the banks, all of that, all of these actions that need to be taken. They want to recouple. And what you're seeing today, how are you going to recouple when the American people are going to sit there and go, hey, the Bidens are on the payroll? They want to recouple. They want to recouple because they're going to make more money. This is why the question now is to Jake Sullivan, Tony Blinken, Kurt Campbell, what did you know and when did you know it? You had to know because Hunter Biden's taking these trips. James Biden's all over this. This is the inner circle of the Biden family, right? Hey, I'm Irish. I know how the Irish families work. Trust me, the brother James we got to make this guy famous. He's central to all of this. Hunter Biden's just another drug addict walking around, right? Living his life of depravity. And trust me, it's pretty depraved. Okay, we're going to take a short commercial break. We want to hear from all the hashtag war and pandemic. We want to hear from all the live stream. Jack, we call people running dogs. I hear you got some feedback from the audience. What are they saying about running dogs?
Yeah, somebody commented. I thought it was great. The rest are running dogs. The war room are running wolves.
That's right. Exactly. Boom. Yeah, running wolves. Hey, we're going to come back. We got Chris Fenton, a former film producer, I guess a current film producer, knows how the Chinese Communist Party rolls. We have him next. We've got so much in the next hour. Next hour, we're also going to talk about Ice Cube's video. Talks about economic nationalism and actually potentially supporting President Trump in his platinum program. All next hour. War Room Pandemic.
Stay tuned to get a free pan from Granite Stone. Stuck on eggs, burnt on batter. You can scrub and scrape, but you can't escape the nightmare of your sticky pans. Introducing the Granite Stone Pan, the all-new durable non-stick pan. No butter or oil needed. Watch, we melted down these sticky candies in Granite Stone, and it just doesn't stick. We cooked a half a dozen eggs, bacon, cheese, and tomato breakfast with no butter or oil, and it just doesn't stick. Look, caramels, chocolate, and cheese. Unreal for any other pan, but not for Granite Stone. It just doesn't stick. Granite Stone will be the last pan you'll ever need because it's pressed from a solid aluminum disc for even heat conduction. Then coated 3 times with our durable Granite Stone finish. Granite Stone is metal utensil safe and won't scratch. And talk about non-stick. This salmon cooked skin side down with no added butter or oil just doesn't stick. This steak is perfectly seared just like the pros. And because Granite Stone is oven rated to 500 degrees, we bake this upside down pan pizza to perfection, and it just doesn't stick. Fire Flambe Delicious Cherries Jubilee. Plus, it's PFOA free and 100% dishwasher safe. Call or go online to get your Granite Stone Pan for the special TV discount price of just $19.99. Granite Stone is so durable it comes with a 10-year warranty. And with every order, you're going to get a Granite Stone single-serve egg pan absolutely free. It's the perfect size for personalized eggs, omelets, or frittatas that slide right out. It makes the best bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich quick. Yours absolutely free. We'll even ship your entire order free. That's right, free shipping. You get it all an incredible value. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-850-0237. That's 1-800-850-0237, or order online at buygranitestone.com. That's 1-800-850-0237. Call